Mortgage, I think we discussed the other day. I buy a house. I have 10% of its value. I must somehow get the other 90% of money. I take out a mortgage, usually from a bank or some lending institution. That's my mortgage. And every month I pay interest on my mortgage. To mortify is to shock. The word has to do with death, but it means to shock. He was mortified, PP, when he discovered that no money was in his bank account. To mourn, similar to grieve, we talked about the other day, he mourned the loss of his friend when the friend died. He mourned for his friend, VT, VI. Multiplication is the process of increasing by, in some pattern, the number, amount of something. To multiply, of course, 2 times 2 equals 4 is multiplication. I multiply 2 by 2. But perhaps our problems multiplied when we allowed him into our club, increased. Mutinous, related to mutiny. Mutiny is rebellion against some leader, some legal leader, especially on a ship. Their behavior was mutinous, that is, they rebelled against him. Mutual, acting toward one person and the other person acting toward you. For example, we have a relationship of mutual respect, mutual admiration. Mythical, good word. The word mythology and mythological, much too widely used when people usually mean myth or mythical. A myth, Chinois, I think, a story. Ideally, a myth teaches some lesson, has some point, deals with something profound, but it doesn't, strictly speaking, have to. Mythical, adjective form. Nag, mostly the verb. People talk about women nagging their husbands. A nag is a old slang word, almost legitimate, for a horse, a tired old horse. Naive, very important word. Trusting too easily, trusting too readily. He is naive, meaning he doesn't understand the world. A narcissist is concerned only with him or herself. The classical name comes from Narcissus, the flower, but this is from Ovid's Metamorphoses, which I mentioned to you about 10 minutes ago. Narcissus was changed to a flower, and we use this word in psychology, a narcissist. To narrate is to tell, as in a story. Nascent is coming into life, being born. The root word there means to be born. A nascent interest in something, just developing now. A nascent movement in society. Natal means having to do with birth too. It's mostly used in prenatal, before birth, but natal could be used too. Native, having to do with where one's born too. As a noun, a native Korean is a person who was born in Korea. If English is my native language, it means that I was born speaking that language. So the root of all these words has to do with to be born. Nausea is feeling sickness to the point of vomiting. If I feel nausea, by the way, nauseating, his rude behavior was nauseating, made us sick, made us feel sick, disgusting. Neologism, excellent, a new word. A neologism is a new word. Nigh means near, Old English. Noisome means harmful, seldom used. Excellent, good word. Noisome. Comes from Latin and French. A nomad is a person who has no fixed domicile, who moves from place to place. Nomadic tribes move from place to place or back and forth according to the seasons. Nonchalance is ease, informality. He performed the task with nonchalance, that is, with ease, effortlessly. Notorious really means well known. Now, mostly we use it in a negative sense, a notorious criminal, a notorious philanderer or something like that, criminal. But more and more in popular culture, notoriety, the noun form, means fame. And these words move in and out of popular culture. Probably best to avoid it, but of course you have to recognize all these words. A novice is a beginner. Excellent. Noxious means harmful. Noisome and noxious, rare words. A few days ago we did innocuous. Excellent word. Harmless. In, not innocuous. Related to these words also. A nugget is a stone, presumably of gold. A gold nugget is almost a pleonasm, that is, almost a redundancy. A nugget is already gold. That's like saying a dark night. Nullified, cancelled, reduced to nothing, cancelled. Oblique, an oblique angle, but it's not used except in math that way. An oblique reference to something is just a slight reference that touches on the subject and then goes. Another word similar to that is tangential, a tangential remark. To obliterate is kind of like to nullify, to wipe out, to annihilate. Oblivious, forgetful. Now, he was oblivious of the fact that she was in the room, tends to mean he didn't know. But oblivion should mean forgetful, oblivious. The noun oblivion, his works, he wrote many books that were famous in his time, but since then his words have been lost to oblivion, forgotten. Obloquy, good, is criticism, extreme criticism, good word. Not used much. Obscure, not clear. Observation, an obscure remark, an obscure reference to some unknown work. Observation, if I observe something, I see it, perhaps I even look at it for a long time. Now, an observation, though, is often what I say about it. He made an observation about the political scene of Korea, means he made a comment about it. So the word is not held to very strictly. Obsession means if I have an obsession with something, I can't get it out of my mind. I am obsessed with it, or with the person, with him, with her, with it. Obsolescent, beautiful, means any essent, adolescent, effervescent, various others, means a process of becoming. Obsolescence means becoming obsolete. Many things are obsolescent. The typewriter is, I guess, obsolete. Before long, the computer, the big heavy computer, will be is obsolescent, will be obsolete. Obsolete, not used. My stereo here is obsolete. Obstinate, stubborn. Obstruct, hinder, prevent, impede. To obviate, excellent. To obviate the necessity of something is to make it unnecessary. To obviate something is to reduce its importance so that it's not important anymore. An occurrence is an event, usually a small event. Odious means hateful. He is odious in my sight, hateful. Odor is something we smell. An offensive odor or a pleasant odor. Offense is various meanings. Offense, the offense, and the offensive, how do I say it? The offense of some team is weak, but the defense is strong. That's sports, football especially. If I commit an offense, I offend someone. And the most important of these words, little used in Korea, I think, is to offend. Someone called me the other day and I said, you offend me. That is, you are almost insulting me. Officious. We had the word meddle last page. To meddle in something is to get involved with something that I shouldn't get involved in, to disturb even. Officious behavior is meddlesome behavior. That is, I'm getting involved in business that is not my own, or someone's business. Omnipotent, all-powerful. God is presumably omnipotent. Omniscient, all-knowing. God is presumably omniscient. In fact, if God is not omnipotent and omniscient, most Christians would say it's not God. This doesn't quite follow other cultures, though. Omnivorous means devouring or eating all things. Now, if he is an omnivorous reader, he reads everything, all subjects. Opaque means thick, will not even allow light to penetrate it. Opaque, not admitting light. Good word. Optional. If something is optional, it's not required. It's open to choice. Optometry is the study of eyes, but especially for the use of prescribing glasses or no glasses. An ophthalmist, ophthalmy is the study of the eye. An ophthalmist, though, can be a surgeon who operates on the eye. Opulent is splendid, rich, an opulent palace. Orate, interesting. Never have heard of it, but it must be the verb form of oration. An oration is a speech on a serious subject usually. An orator is a speaker, a public speaker. To orate is presumably to make a public speech. Orbit is the usually circle. The Earth makes its orbit every year around the Sun. The other planets follow in their respective orbits. Ordinary, common. Extraordinary, uncommon. He is an extraordinary, singer. Sings very well. He's ordinary, not special. To oscillate is to move back and forth very quickly. So quickly perhaps that the eye can't see. Ostentatious is showy. He's ostentatious with his wealth, meaning he dresses in rich clothing, he drives a fancy car, he's showing off his wealth. He's ostentatious. The opposite would be, I suppose, discreet. To ostracize is to cast out of one's society. He has been ostracized by his family. That is, he's not welcome. An Ottoman, coming from the Ottoman Empire, the Turks, because the Turks designed it in the first place, an Ottoman is a special kind of sofa. I don't really know what it looks like. An ovation is applause. The audience broke out, gave him a huge ovation when he entered the room. They applauded him. A standing ovation, people talk about. Overblown is too rich, too blossomed, excessive. Overdue is it having passed the date when something is due. I should have returned the tape out here to the video shop yesterday. Today it is overdue.